I wish I could play music in the background, but you can't. You can't play music in the background, so you just can't. Oh wow, there were two people in here. Now they're gone already. They're gone already. Hi, Jacob. Oh, they're back now. Hi, Jacob Wade. Welcome to Bedtime Stories with the Butterhag. That actually sounds pretty fucking... Sounds so, conceited, I guess is the word I'm looking for. How is everyone? I'm going to wait and give people time to join. Hi, Brittany. Oh, there you are. Yay. Cheers. Have a beer. I can actually talk about what I want here and not have to worry about the TikTok censors shutting me down. Hi, Margie Bird. Nice to see you. Why does that beer taste like shit? Do you see my beer face? That's my bitter beer face. I'll get used to it. Don't worry, I'll be fine. If I could get my stomach to calm the fuck down, I'd be better. Yeah, they censor me a lot on TikTok because my conspiracy theories are really pretty controversial, I would say. More controversial than others. Not as bad as QAnon. I mean, mine are at least based in some kind of reality. Hi, Thomas Perry. Nice to see you. Right many times, right? Sometimes I'm wrong, but I've been right a bunch. Many times. It's crazy. It's crazy how many times I've been right. I'm like, I knew it! I knew it! I don't know why or how, but I knew it. Damn it. Nobody ever listens to me, but I knew it. Oh, don't cough. That's right. Thank you, Paris. Nice to see you. I like it. I'm starting to like it down more and more. I'll think I'll even I'll like it down even more when my friend Romania gets finished with it, because she's going to freshen them up for me. I feel bad having her freshen them up for me when she's only going to be here for a day. You know, I really feel bad. Maybe I won't let her freshen them up for me. I don't want her to come on her vacation to visit me and have to work on my hair. If they don't have to like it, they can just move the hell on. That's right. That's right. That's right. I agree 100%. I do agree 100%. Anyway. So, yeah. I think she probably will, because she wants to get in here and fix it just as bad as everybody else that looks at it wants it fixed. Everybody who looks at it wants it fixed. And I'm pretty sure she wants it fixed too. Yeah, she's yeah. I'm gonna cook our food before they come so that we won't really have anything to do when they come, except maybe we could drive over to the beach, leave the dogs at home and drive over to the beach. You know, that's something we could do. I mean, the beaches over here out on the Keys are gorgeous. Oh my gosh. We have beautiful beaches in Florida. They're beautiful. I personally don't go to them because I don't like those people over there. But yeah, right? I mean, she's only going to be here for a day, so I mean, but we're the kind of people, I don't know how she's going to leave. I honestly don't know how she's going to pull it off coming here for just a day. Seriously, I have no idea how she thinks she's going to pull it off, coming to visit and just stay in a day. I don't know how she's going to do that shit. Nope, I don't know how. Maybe they won't just leave because they have a sleeper bed in there. I'm assuming they're going to bring their truck. They don't have a load, they're taking time off. I'm assuming they're going to bring their truck, so they have their sleeper bed with them, so they can stay overnight. I bet I end up talking them into. Yeah, she better have more than a day to spend when she comes, because she's not going to want to go. She's not going to want to go after just one day. We got to get up in the morning and have coffee together, and yeah. She just can't come at 10 a.m. and leave at 6. I don't know who she thinks she's kidding. Anyway, so we might as well start with story time, huh? Anybody have any questions about how I got on the bus, or why I got on the bus, or I don't know if it'll be 3 days, but it's at least going to be a day and a half. Stop it. Anyway, what was I going to say? Story time about the bus. I'm going to start talking about the bus. If people come in, fine. If they don't come in, fine. People will be able to listen to it later. So I originally started looking at the bus. I was an engineer, and I was renting a townhouse in Maryland, and I had gotten burned in the housing market through no fault of my own. The recession and the housing crash that happened after Bush's years in the office, in the White House, or at the end of Bush's years in the White House, they really screwed me over with the house I owned in New Mexico. And so it really soured me to the possibility of maybe buying another house. I didn't want to buy another house, and especially not. I was living in Maryland, and I'm approaching retirement age, and so I really didn't want to buy a house in Maryland. And I had tried to get transferred to other places around the country, but really the only place that I could stay, it seemed, was in Maryland. So I started looking at buying a bus. I started looking at alternative forms of living that I could do. And at first I thought maybe I would do a tiny house. But as I started looking into tiny homes, there was a lot of cons, and you needed land to park them on. You had to tow them behind you, and I do not like towing shit behind a vehicle, not even a little bit. You had to and I started reading about some legal issues that tiny homes were running into because city ordinances were having fits with them. They were really giving them hell. So I thought maybe not a tiny home, and then I started looking at container homes, and a container home would actually, you could make a container home be pretty cool, honestly. So I like the idea of a container home. But again, that requires, even more so, it requires that you own property, and I did not want to buy property in Maryland. So then I saw a video on YouTube, I think, called Hank Bought a Bus, and it's about an architectural graduate student in Florida that converted a school bus as his architectural project, for graduation for his master's. And so he converted you had to do something big for your project and document all of it and all of that. And so Maryland is really expensive, but I was making a lot of money. I was an engineer. I was making a lot of money. I could afford it. I just didn't want to stay there. I knew I didn't want to stay in Maryland. Anyway, I was making a lot of money. I could afford to stay in Maryland. I just did not want to. And I knew that so anyway, I saw Hank converted a bus, and he did a really good job. He made that bus really look good inside. And I thought, I really like that. You can drive a bus around. And my creative juices started rolling as soon as I saw that video. Hank created a bus. Now, two members of my family had, prior to that, two members of my family owned buses at the time. My nephew Greg, that lives in Denton, he owned a bus, or ish. His friends owned a bus that he took custody of because he drove them everywhere in it, and he was the mechanic on it. And so, they bought the bus, but it was his bus because he took them all over the country in that bus. But he had sort of converted his by putting like couches and stuff in it. It reminded me of, a clubhouse that one of my friends had when I was a teenager in the 70s, and we used to go in there and smoke pot all the time. It was like a party place for your friends. And my nephew Greg was well into his 30s, but he was still into having the clubhouse, the party place with your friends. So that's kind of how I looked at his bus. It's just a party place with his friends, and he's never going to grow up, and there's no reason why he should ever have to grow up, but that's how I looked at his bus. And then my brother Jim got a bus, and he got a short bus. And I laughed so hard at him, and I feel bad to this day for laughing hard at my brother Jim when he got a short bus. But I teased him about owning a short bus. I really busted his balls for getting a short bus. As it turns out, he got his bus off of an auction site. My nephew Greg got his bus for like $400. My brother got his bus for, I don't know, he got it cheap. But he got so excited when he saw it on the auction site, and the auction only had a few minutes left, and it was still so cheap that he got excited and bid on it. And then, as it turns out, back in the day, 10 years ago, a school bus, a short school bus would go real cheap. School buses weren't expensive 10 years ago. I mean, schools were practically wanting to give them away. It was just, it's crazy how much they've gone up in price now. But 10 years ago, schools were wanting to get them away. Hi, VW. And so the, I forgot what I was going to say. Shit. Oh, anyway, he saw how cheap it was and bid real quick on the bus, and then after he won it, he realized it was a short bus, and I busted his balls for getting a fucking short bus. And it's really bad because he got his balls busted by myself and my other brother so much. I think Jim, Troy, and myself, we were like the Three Musketeers for a long time. And Troy and I used to bust his balls, and it was really mean. So I busted his balls because that's what sisters do. That's what sisters do. He got a short bus, right? So of course I had to bust his ass. He's my brother. I had to bust his balls for getting a fucking short bus. Anyway, he was converting his as well. But I saw the Hank bought a bus video, and that's what really started that's the first time I realized just how creative you could get with building a bus. I just thought my brother Jim was building himself a little clubhouse too. I looked at them like little clubhouses because that's what they were to me back in the 70s, a little clubhouse. So both of them, I considered their buses little clubhouses. But Hank showed me that it could be a home. So I started researching that shit. And I found a website called schooly.net. It's a fabulous resource for everything that you want to do in a bus. It's an incredible resource. The only thing that's bad about it is I find the interface is really old and clunky. But it's certainly a great place to use as a database for researching. Schooly.net. And so I was on schooly.net and started looking through all kinds of build, and then I found a group on Facebook called Schooly, and I joined it, and it turns out it was run by the same person who owned schooly.net. And then I started finding all these different groups and researching. Then I started searching for buses, and then I started, trying to figure out, okay, what would I make it look like? How big of a bus do I need? You know, I couldn't figure out, looking at the buses, how big is that? So I had to figure out how big the windows are. There weren't a lot of resources for things like that, but I really wanted to know. I bought what a get a general idea of what the chassis size of a school bus is, and then go from there. You know, what is the biggest versus the smallest? Oh my goodness, I got a runny nose all of a sudden. What's the biggest chassis versus the smallest of a school bus? And then I got grid paper and drew out each. You know, I got a really big legal size thing of grid paper, so that when you opened it, it was doubly wide. And I made each two squares equal to foot. And so I figured, I drew my floor plan. I just kind of freehand drew what I wanted my floor plan, and then I just kind of had to dial it in by drawing it in the frame of a school bus and see how much I could fit. And then I had to dial it in by researching how big certain appliances are. You know, I really did a lot of research into what I needed. That's the other thing I really liked about the idea of building a school bus, is that I looked at RVs. At first I was thinking about, I even considered an RV, but in an RV, all the RVs, they say sleeps 6 comfortably, sleeps 8 comfortably. I mean, it's like they're all geared around shoving as many people as possible into a small space for a short period of time. So I didn't care for that. I had two. Actually, at the time, I only had one large dog. I only had Gonzo. I hadn't gotten Winston yet. I only had Gonzo. And so I wanted to... It's a queen size. It's a RV queen size, which makes it a little shorter than a regular RV, but it's RV queen size. Anyway, I had... I forgot what I was going to say now. Shit, what was I saying? So I didn't like the idea that RVs are like sleeps 10, you know, that kind of thing. I wanted it to sleep 1 and 1 big dog. You know, I had been living in Maryland and away from Texas, away from my family. I had been living away from my family for 16 years, and nobody had ever come to visit me. Maybe my daughter twice in 16 years. So I didn't figure that anybody would be coming to visit me in the bus either. So why should I have enough room to sleep that many people? I don't even give a shit. I want to sleep a big dog and 1 person. No, they're not, Paris, because I use king-size sheets on them. The only way to make a bed in an RV is with king-size sheets. Otherwise, you are fucking driving yourself crazy all the time. Anyway, back to my story. So I really like the idea of the bus. That I really like the idea of the bus. So I started planning it, and then I figured out what size bus I wanted, and I knew that I wanted belly storage, and so I started surfing the internet, and I would find a bus that I'd like, and I'd get all excited, and I'd tell people about it. Then I'd get paranoid. No, they're gonna go buy it before I can, and I'd delete all my posts, and then I'd see a bus that was like really cheap. I mean, it becomes obsessive. Once you decide and you realize that the idea of building a school bus and living in it is what you want to do, you become obsessed with it. And so eventually I found my bus, and is the 78 passenger 1997 International Amtrak Genesis. It had belly storage. It had only 153,000 miles. It had good tires. It had 29 and a half feet from behind the driver's seat to the back door. And that was a floor plan that I could work with and fit everything in it that I wanted. So I found it and I bid on it and I won it. I had made my maximum bid. I bid $3,000 and it was at $3,000. And I thought, if somebody outbids me again, I am not I am not going to get this bus. I'm not going to pay more than $3,000. And nobody ever bid. So I won the auction on a freaking school bus 450 miles away. And I have never driven a school bus. And it's like, holy shit, what the fuck did I just do? That is the most terrifying feeling. When you click submit and then you send the payment, because you have to send the payment right away. You send the payment and I just was like sick. I was sick. Oh, fuck. But you know, you go to your Facebook groups and you post, oh my God, I just bought the bus. Now I'm terrified. How can I do this? How am I going to do this? I'm not going to be able to do this. Oh my God, oh my God. But that's what's really good about the support groups on Facebook, is there are always people there who have been through it and are able to tell you, calm down. It's okay. Go get your bus, you know. It's going to be okay. Take it one thing at a time, one step at a time, you know, and you'll be okay. So, you know, you get through it. So this is called fly by the seat of your pants. This is how I approach everything in my life. And it's like so stressful. Typically it all works out, but oh my God, it's stressful. But so here's the thing. I didn't have a license to drive a large vehicle, and until you get the title changed to RV, it's considered a school bus. And so it's feasible that I could have gotten pulled over, and because the title was, you know, I had to have the, you know, if the title wasn't in my name, I could have gotten pulled over on my way and they could have ticketed me for not having a CDL. Something like that. So I had to be very careful about getting all my ducks in a fucking row. And I had something like 3 weeks. They gave you 3 weeks to come pick it up. I was so happy about that because holy shit, that's a lot to get arranged. And so I paid the school, and the school sent me a manila envelope full of, oh my God, it was full of so many goodies. I had schematics. I had the build sheet from the bus, the original build sheet from 1997. Actually, it was assembled in 96. It showed every single part. Hi, Nate. It showed every single part number, every single feature, what the bus cost, brand spanking new. They sent me all of the repair records for this bus from the school, the handwritten repair, which every month they would do an inspection, and it showed when they replaced the tires and what things broke and when they broke. It was like, oh, this is so fucking exciting. And they sent me the title because I'd already paid. So they sent me the title. So I was able to get insurance on it. And what I did was I had collected, this was what the plan was. Okay, this is how I planned it. It was critical because me getting caught driving without appropriate driver's license in a vehicle like this, given the kind of work that I did, it's just something that you really want to. It was expected as a professional engineer that I minded, you know, I crossed all of my T's and dotted my I's. You can't get in trouble with the law. You can't do things wrong. You can't, you know, you can't do all the horse shit that most people get away with. All right. You have to be really careful. And so this was my grand plan. I had the floor plan drawn out on the legal pad. Matched the bus perfect. I mean, I spent countless engineering meetings sketching that floor plan over and over again on notebook paper in the meetings, and making sure that everything would fit and making sure I hadn't forgotten anything. I mean, every single meeting I was so busy making floor plans. It was crazy because I fucking hate meetings. Anyway, so I had the floor plan, and because I was planning the floor plan, I ordered all the things that there is a certain criteria for a vehicle being considered a recreational vehicle. And those criteria are there, you know, both for so that the RV people can build to the criteria, but it's also so that people can make their own recreational vehicles. And so there are like 7 items, and you have to have 4 of the 7. And I decided that I would go ahead, and this is a really bad idea to do, as it turns out. But I went ahead, since I had my floor plan, and I could see where everything was and which appliances and all that shit. Before I even had the bus, I had my fucking living room full of appliances and all this other kind of stuff that I would need for the bus. And the reason that I did that, number one, is because I'm a moron, because it was a real bad idea. But number 2 is it all fit into my grand scheme of getting the bus title changed to an RV before I picked the bus up, so that when I picked up the tags, I had RV tags on the back of the bus. And so I was afraid to drive, and I needed somebody to go up there with me because I would take my vehicle up. And so I ended up paying my brother Jim, paying for his airplane ticket to fly to Maryland. And he was going to go pick up the bus with me. And that turned out to be not nearly as fun as I expected it would be. I don't know how much detail I want to go into that. I really don't want to. I don't want to. I'll go into detail about that someday if I get a book. Anyway, that didn't turn out being nearly as fun, but I'll try to keep it light. So he came, and I took a long weekend. And on a Friday morning at like, I don't know, 7 o'clock in the morning, we had to go to West Virginia to pick it up. But what I planned to do was go to a Maryland DMV out in the middle of nowhere, like just before the last DMV before I crossed the border into West Virginia. And the reason that I did that is because a lot of times when you're transferring the title of a vehicle and changing its type of vehicle, depending on where you have that thing done, they can really give you a hard time. Sometimes the clerks will really give you a hard time. And so I felt like if I went to a DMV in a rural area, I would have a much better chance of not getting a clerk that's burnt out and angry and blah, blah, blah. And I would be able to charm them. That's what my whole plan was, that I was going to charm the DMV. All of my plans to get the bus home rode on me charming the DMV. And there was no margin of error. I didn't have time for a second shot because you had to pick the bus up by a certain time. And so I went into the DMV. We drove over through the mountains in Maryland right to the border, and I went to the last DMV before you crossed into West Virginia. And I showed them my floor plan and every single one of the receipts that I had for all the stuff that I had purchased to do the conversion. And so I was able to show them, yes, it's an RV. Look, here's the floor plan. And here's all the receipts from everything I bought to do the conversion. And blah, 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 blah. And oh my God, I just was so excited and so full of energy and bubbly. And all the girls from all the clerks came over, and they all were fascinated, and they looked at the floor plan and looked back at me and said, oh my God, really, really, really? And then they gave me their fucking rubber stamps and a set of RV tags, and out the fucking door I went. I was so elated. Oh my God, I was so stressed out. I do things backwards like that so that oh my God. So we got the tags, and then we went over and got the bus and drove it home. Driving it home was horrible. Driving it home was a real stressful experience. I had a brand new Ford F-150. It was brand new. And I had never driven a bus before. And my brother had a bus. So I just assumed that my brother would drive the bus. And when we got over to the school to pick it up, and they were the school people came out and showed me how to operate certain things and certain features on the bus and all this shit. My brother said, "Don't tell me, tell her. She's driving." And I looked at him, I was like, "What? You're driving?" He said, "I'm not driving." I said, "Why the fuck did I just fly you 2,000 miles if you're not going to drive the bus for me? I thought you would drive the bus." He said, "No, I'm going to take your pickup, and I got friends that live in West Virginia. I'm going to go visit them. And by the way, you made them mad on my Facebook page, so you can't come with me. They don't really like you. But yeah, it's your bus, honey. You're driving it." That is just the one small part of why I said that, having my brother come from Texas, Facebook is for haters, right? Well, they were a bunch of conspiracy theorists, and I used to get angry at them because I felt like they were fucking with my brother's head. And so I would give them shit, conspiracy theorists, I would give them shit, and they would block me. And it was one of those conspiracy theorists that he was going to go visit, and he was not going to drive the bus. You're going to drive the bus, and I'm going to go visit my friend. I'll take the dog for you if you want. So then he took the bus. He took the truck, and I took the bus. I stopped at a rest stop, and I texted him and said, "I'm going to stop at a rest stop and try to wait for you." But then it started to get dark, and I started freaking out because not only am I driving a 35-foot long, 23,000-pound vehicle, now I'm going to do it after dark. And there's a fucking alarm in the back that keeps going off, and it's driving me fucking crazy. I don't know what the fuck it is. And my cell phone is going dead because I don't have a charger. And shit, I'm just going to get on the highway. I don't even know where the fuck he went. He went somewhere in the mountains of West Virginia to visit his friend. So I texted him and said, "I'm leaving. I'm gonna go." And I took off down the highway, and my phone died. And as I'm driving down the highway, I start thinking, and I realized, shit, he doesn't know where I live. He doesn't know where I live. He knows I don't even think he knows my address. Who has people's addresses memorized when you go visit them on an airplane? How is he going to find my house? And then I started thinking, well, shit. All right, I'll go home. I can't call him. I can't call him because my phone is dead. So I thought, okay, I'll go home and get my charger and then call him. And then I think, shit, I can't do that either because I don't have the keys. I never locked my house doors, but I locked them this time because when we were leaving, he pitched a fit because I said I wasn't going to lock my door. So I locked it. So I got the bus keys. He's got my car keys because he's in my truck. And if I get home, I can't get in. So I can't go home and charge my phone. So I start thinking, I've got to find a place to charge my phone. I'm on the highway. I get past Baltimore. And I see an exit for, I think the highway is the road. So I get off on that exit. And I take a right, and I see there's a gas station, an Exxon station. And so I think, okay, I'm going to stop there. Why does somebody named Butterhag get to come in here? I'm Butterhag. I'm going to have to sue you for copyright, honey. I am going to sue you for copyright infringement. Anyway, I guess the greatest form of compliment is copycat, right? Anyway, who the fuck would do that? It's so fucking retarded. Anyway, I'm so glad I can say that here. Back to my story. I saw there was an Exxon station. And I thought, holy cow. It's just that if people search for Butterhag and they find them, they're going to be like, what the fuck? This isn't Butterhag. I'm the only Butterhag. They are definitely copyright infringement. It's not like there is no other. So why did you make your name Butterhag? That's what I don't understand. Anyway, I don't really give a shit. I'm in the middle of story time. Yeah, I'm in the middle of story time, imposter. So if you keep typing, I'm going to have to mute you because I'm in the middle of story time. Anyway, I don't know why you would copy somebody's name, but go ahead, enjoy yourself. People like you are why I need to get verified. Anyway, so I see as I get off the, no, I'm the only one. There's not more than one. I am the only Butterhag. The only one. The only one. I have the Butterhag name on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on TikTok, and on YouTube. I have butterhag@gmail.com. I am Butterhag. You are a poser. And now I'm going back to my story. So as I turn the corner, I exit off the highway in this big 35-foot long bus. And I turn and I see an Exxon station. I think, okay, I can turn in there. Okay, moron, here you go. How about this? I'm going to, there you go. Get away from me. Anyway, as I turn the corner, I see, so I have to turn a corner to get to the Exxon station. It's like on, the entrance to the Exxon station is on a side street that I have to turn onto. It's a red light and, you know, I've got it in. So I turn onto the side street off of the main road and there's a sign that says weight limit 5 tons. I know that a ton is 2,000 pounds. 5 times 2 is 10. I know that the GVRW of my bus is 35,000 pounds. That means that I am over by at least 15,000 pounds. What the fuck am I going to do? I can't back up. And then not only that, but this Exxon gas station does not have a lot that is big enough for me to turn around in. And it is dark. What the fuck am I going to do now? I'm not both supposed to be on this street. I could fall through this street any minute. What the fuck am I going to do now? I forget about charging my phone. Now I have to figure out how to get the fuck out of here. So I'm pulled over the side of the road and I can see that there's a place that I can turn in. The Exxon has a turn in that goes into a, has a wide turn in on one side because it goes into a car wash. And I'm thinking I can pull in there and then it's a curve. The road curves. So I would pull into the car wash and then back blindly out in the dark onto that street, swinging my ass around that curve in order to come out this way. So I think, okay, that's what I've got to do. And so I start to pull forward and then I think, fuck no, I cannot do that 3-point turn in this bus. It's the first time I'm driving it. I didn't know I was going to have to drive it. And so I stopped again. And I thought, what the fuck am I said, the only thing I can do is just back up the way I came. I'm going to back up and back out onto that road really fucking slow so anybody coming has plenty of time to see me because I cannot go forward. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I was so stressed out. This is horrible kind of stress. So I put the bus in reverse and started backing up. And as I backed up about, I backed up about 2 feet. And then I said, fuck no, I can't back up. Hi, Kamala official. Fuck no, I can't back up. I need to go forward. I just can't back up blindly out onto that busy road. The other road that I would have to back onto was busy. This one at least was dead. I said, I'm just going to have to pull into the Exxon and blindly back up and hope that I don't fucking Oh, I know, right? I was shitting my pants. I was shitting my pants. This is a big bus. So I start going forward again, and I turn into the Exxon. I successfully get turned into the Exxon. And I start to back up so I can back out onto the road. Oh, it's a long story, Kamala. Please don't make me stop. So I'm going out to back onto the road. You'll be able to listen to the story again. These story times are recorded. So after I'm finished, it will upload, and then you can come back and watch it later. So as I pull into this Exxon parking lot to go ahead and do the 3-point turn, I start to back up, and I hear bam, 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 really hard on my side door. Right here, right to the right of my driver's seat. I was like, what the fuck? Who's banging? Fuck, what? What? I can't take the stress. And I opened the door of the school bus, and there stands my brother. Where the fuck did he come from? Holy shit, thank fucking Christ. I'm about to lose my mind here. And why the hell is he banging on the door like he is? And so he says, you hit me. He's mad at me. You hit me. I said, what the fuck? How did I hit you? What the hell are you doing here? This is so surreal. What do you mean I hit you? You backed into me. I said, what the fuck were you doing behind me? He said, I was trying to text you. I said, my phone is dead. Why didn't you get out? You were behind me? What the fuck? As it turns out, he exited off the highway just in time to see my ass turn the corner to turn onto that road that had a 5-ton limit. So he pulled in and pulled behind me and was texting me, not knowing my phone was dead, when I decided I was just going to back up and go out the way that I came from, and started backing up. And he's sitting there trying to text me and hears beep, 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 beep. And he is in my brand spanking new Ford F-150 4-wheel drive, all the bells and whistles pickup. No, he passed away last year. And we had stopped speaking before he passed away. But anyway, that's for another story time. But anyway, we didn't speak for a long time after this incident because it got real ugly. He really disappointed me. But anyway, he had just turned the corner right about the same time that he turned the corner in the pickup about the same time I was taking the next corner down to go into the gas station, so he had pulled in behind me. He was able to throw the truck in reverse, and so I only poked a hole in the hood of my pickup. I didn't hurt it real bad. So he ended up guiding me, just directing me on where to turn, and got me out of that predicament, and then he followed me home. And I parked the bus, and then we went home. I want to tell you that was like the most harrowing experience I have ever done. I honestly thought he was going to drive the bus because he owned a bus. I never thought for a second that he was going to take the truck and go visit his friend. I really didn't. That wasn't in the plan. That wasn't in the plan. But I made it, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And so I made it. I survived it, and I got the bus home. So there you go. And that's why I picked the bus. That's why I built the bus. What I learned from buying all the stuff in advance is that lots of lessons learned, so many lessons learned. Oh my God. And when I think about, just thinking about how, why do I plan things like that? I always plan shit like that. I always plan shit so that if everything doesn't go exactly right, I'm fucked in a big way. You know, so many things could have left me fucked in a big way. And yet nothing in my psyche said, don't fucking do this. This is a bad plan. You should make a better plan. This is not a good plan. This is not a good plan. No, no, no. I'm Superwoman! Fuck the stress! I have really good spirit guides. I believe so. I mean, I can tell you story after story after story after story in my life where, number one, I should have either been in jail or dead or brutal, incredibly injured or all sorts of things. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I have great spirit guides. Thank goodness. I'm like the luckiest person. My mother used to tell me all the time, Teresa, you could step in a bucket of shit and come out coated with gold. It was a 400-mile drive, VW. A 400-mile drive through the mountains between West Virginia and Maryland at the Pennsylvania border. My angels are so fucking worn out. You have no idea. They are so worn out. Oh, you have no idea. It was a 400-mile drive, and it got dark shortly after I got possession of the bus. And let me tell you, when you're my age, it's really hard to drive it after dark, even if you're in a regular vehicle. Driving a bus after dark is just, you just shouldn't do it. You just fucking should. You just shouldn't. You shouldn't do it until you shouldn't do it. Old people should not drive buses after dark. No, you just shouldn't do it. No, it's too hard to see. It really is. Something about the lighting, and I don't know. I shouldn't have been driving. It was really stressful, but I did it. Oh my God, and I didn't. The only vehicle I have ever hit in my bus was that pickup. So that was a really good lesson. And it taught me that I need to carefully plan my trips. I mean, I got to be such a fanatic about planning my trips. I knew every turn. I knew every corner. I drove it more than once in my truck before I took the bus on it. It costs, well, I have a 65-gallon tank, so that means I get about 45 gallons. And the fuel, it's a 45-gallon fill-up, and the fuel is usually, it's usually between, I've gotten it as low as $2.25 a gallon, but the last year and a half, 2 years I was in the bus, I never found it under $3.25, and sometimes it's $4 a gallon. So say $3.50 times 45, whatever that is, 3 times 45, that's going to be about $150 to fill it up ish, $145, and you can go about 400 miles. It gets 10 to 12 miles per gallon. I was impressed with the gas mileage it got. I still am impressed with the gas mileage it got. I'm so impressed with how sturdy these vehicles are. They are really sturdy. Converting this bus has been just an incredible experience, that's for sure. But that's why I chose a bus and my journey to getting the bus. Yeah, my brother and I had a falling out while he was at my house. I thought he was going to stay for like 2 or 3 weeks. I thought he was going to at least stay for 3 weeks, I mean, I bought him a round trip ticket. He didn't have a job. He ended up staying for a week, and actually less than a week, and asked me to buy him a ticket home. Less than a week, and he wanted a ticket home because he wanted to make sure his cat was fed. He had 2 sons that lived in town, but he needed to go make sure his cat was fed. So I bought him a ticket, and he went home after less than a week. He was mad because I hired people that did my yard for me to help us work on the bus, and they were black, and I paid them more than I was going to pay him. But I had been paying him $400 a month for years so that his son could go to college, and paying for all kinds of any little extras that he needed. He was disabled, and so any extras he needed, I'd buy him. If his computer broke, I'd buy him a computer. I got him a cell phone. I put him on my cell phone carrier. I paid for his cell phone bill. I paid for, when his son was in mechanic school, I just took an automatic draft and sent him $400 a month every month to help him get through. Anything that he needed like that, I would just buy it. He's my brother. And I didn't expect that he would want me to pay him for helping me. He knew that I had paid all of this in cash, and I was still recovering from dealing with my daughter. My daughter was a real expensive issue when she and I had our falling out. So, but no, he was mad. He said that I treated the ends that did my grass better than him. And that he had already been planning on getting out the sugar tit anyway. I mean, he actually referred to me as the sugar tit. His sister, who had been sending him money, and when I got the job that I was working on in Maryland, I had flown out to an interview in Washington, D.C., and then on the way back from the interview, I stopped to visit him in Dallas. And before heading back to New Mexico, I stopped to visit him in Dallas and stayed for a couple of weeks. And while I was at his house in Dallas, the company that I interviewed with in D.C. sent me a job offer. And I was looking at the money that they'd offered me, and at the time I was making $89,000 a year in New Mexico. And I knew that Maryland had a much higher cost of living, and I was really living a good life in Mexico at 89,000, in New Mexico at 89,000, but it wasn't going to go very far in Maryland. And so I wanted to ask for more money, and I was going to ask for, like, I don't know, 95, maybe 100, something like that. And he said, no. He said, this is your shot. You are writing the ticket now. You need to ask, for more. This is your shot. Ask for more. So I asked for 115, and I got it. And I wouldn't have asked for 115 if my brother, in his brotherly counsel to me, hadn't asked me to ask for it. So what he told me when we had our falling out in the trip where he came out to help me get the bus, he told me that the money I had sent him every month to help him get Duke through school was payment. That was his cut of telling me to ask for a bigger raise. I am a software engineer. I have a degree in computer science. So he figured that all the help I had given him over the years and the money I had sent him, that was his cut of my pay, because I wouldn't have gotten that raise if he hadn't told me to. I mean, that hurt my feelings so bad. It really did. All of those things hurt my feelings so bad. My family has hurt my feelings a lot. But anyway, that's the story of the bus. I guess next time that I talk about the bus, because it's almost an hour and I like to keep these story times to an hour. Next time I talk about stories about the bus, I'll talk about the conversion process and all of that. But initially when I bought the bus, it was to convert to an RV, and then I was going to live in an RV park and continue to work in Maryland, but save a whole bunch of money into my 401k. I wanted to save a bunch of money into my 401k. So that was the whole plan. I was going to convert a school bus, and then because I entered the workforce late to have really built up a sizable 401k, so I wanted, at my age, I qualified to be able to put twice the money in. It's always about money. It's always about money. It's always about money. It's, I knew that he needed to convert his own bus. I mean, and I thought, you can come help me now, and then after I get mine squared away, I can help you. But, I mean, that was my plan. But he was just, I don't know, it was weird. It was very strange. I found out when he was there that he was addicted to Oxycontin too. I'm glad. Oh, hi, Ash. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, that's a really sad way for him to be, but that's the way he is, and that's kind of the way he raised his family too. His sons are really cold-hearted. I mean, it's weird. It's very weird. I think it's very weird. But I can't judge him too bad because he had a horrible life. We all did. We all had a horrible life, but he got the worst of it. I mean, I mean, I had a horrible life, but I had my dad to soften the blow. My brother Jim had a horrible life. Uh, kinda, kinda. I mean, we had a kind of a decent relationship for a little while. But then my brother Troy, who doesn't like me, had all of my nephews over to his house for dinner, told them this big lie about me, and they all started not liking me. And then when I got my dreadlocks and started saying Black Lives Matter, they said, that's it. Actually, when I got my locks, they was like, that's it. I've had enough. This is it. I'm out. And they unfriended me. And, yeah, so because Black Lives Matter and I've got dreadlocks, and they're jealous. They've told me they act really jealous when I come around because I'm living the life. You're living the life. You've got it made. No, you know, they have no idea how much struggle I've been through in my life to deserve this. They just think they should have it now, and the fact that they don't have it now means that I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Just felt very cold. I mean, it hurt my feelings so bad. You just can't imagine. Anyway, my family can't hurt me anymore, though. I have a new family, right? I got you guys. I knew I was on my way to TikTok fame, and I tried to put my hand out to them, and they slapped it away because they thought they were better than I was, and I was under them then. They thought me moving into a bus meant that I was no longer, you know, that I was under them, and they could treat me like shit. And they're the ones who are going to be sorry that they treated me like shit, because I think I'm going places. And I've known for a long time that I was going places. And I reached my hand out to a bunch of people along the way, and the vast majority of them slapped it away. So, yeah. Oops, how do you like me now? You know? How do you like me now? I knew it. I mean, I don't know how I knew it. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. Oh, thank you, Brittany. Well, I got new family. That's right. I got a bigger family. I got new family. And then I feel like I'm going places. I felt like I was going places for a long time. And I've just been taking notes and taking names. And I got a bunch of axes to grind. Right now, the most important thing was getting Trump out of office. The next thing is going to be systemic racism and Black Lives Mattering. And then I've got a long list of other shit. Thank you, Caroline. Family isn't always blood. That's right. They're missing out. They are, in fact, the ones missing out. And I knew it. I mean, it really hurt when they slapped my hand away. It crushed me. I just can't begin to tell you how much it crushed me. But I knew, okay, well, you just made your choice. I hope you're happy with it when you see where I end up. I'm not just an old lady in a bus who's trying to be a burden to you. I'm going places, honey. And if you can't see that I'm going places and don't want to be part of that, or if you can't see it and just don't want to be part of it, that's fine with me. It broke my heart, but I'm okay. And I knew I was going to be okay. And here I am. Yay, I'm okay. I got medicine. All I needed was medicine. All I needed was medicine and some rest. Hi, Miss Prima. Oh, I'm so happy. Congratulations. I'm so happy you got a laptop. Oh, that's wonderful. It hurts so much. It hurts so, especially, you know, my niece and nephew, the one from thank you so much, Irish Malt. The niece and nephew that I have from my sister who passed away, that when she died, I brought my nephew home from the hospital as a newborn baby. and my niece was 3. That rejection is so hard to take. I mean, and it's not just that they rejected me. They were really, really, really mean about it. Really mean about it. And here's the thing is, my nephew told me that the way that he grew up taught him unconditional love. And I sat in his living room with him unloading on me, being so incredibly hateful to me, and thought, is this really what unconditional love means? You know what unconditional love means? Because right now what you're doing to me is not even something that I could ever perceive doing to someone that I thought loved me. So he didn't learn unconditional love. And neither did my niece. They are 2 very hateful people. And I know that I can hold my head up high and say I've never done that shit. Nope, I've never done that shit. Actions speak much louder than words. Anyway, I'm not going to cry anymore. I'm going to get off of here. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to be every night. Every night I'm going. I don't know where to look on here. Where do I look? Every time I look where I want to look, I'm looking like down. I fucking hate it. I need to not have it close enough so I can see where my eyes are. There you go. That's better. That's it. I've got the fucking camera too close. Am I looking correctly? Okay. Because it doesn't look like I'm looking correctly. Unappreciative. It's ridiculous. It's... Well, I'm really glad that you enjoyed the whole story. I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to see you guys. Oh, I'll see you guys over on TikTok. I just don't like to make it longer than an hour because it takes it so long to process. So I want to keep them at an hour. But thanks for joining me. I'll have another one tomorrow night at 7. And so many lessons. Oh my goodness, so many lessons. I'm going on TikTok right now. Yes, I am. I'll see you guys over on TikTok. I love you guys. Black Lives Matter. Say their names. Say their names. We owe them so much.